Good morning. I got some more bankruptcy questions. If you are new here, I filed for bankruptcy 2 years ago now, almost 2 years, January of 2023. And I've been able to build my credit back up into the 700s, get an apartment, a car, credit cards, everything. So I'm going to address some questions that I got on my Instagram.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Smart Money Habits. Today, we're going to take another look at bankruptcy and some of the pros and cons of filing for bankruptcy. As always, I want to state the obvious, that it's in your best interest to seek free legal advice before you make a decision like this on your own. Hey, I'm not going to hold you. Let's jump right into it.
I got you, homie. Let's go.
I'm going to tell you the cheapest way how to file for bankruptcy in the next 50 seconds. I've gone viral quite a few times about my bankruptcy process and my bankruptcy journey, so I think I know what I'm talking about just a little bit. One, you need paperwork to submit. You're going to go to upsall.org or legal aid. I use upsall.org. You're going to upload your documents and put your information. It's going to formulate all the documents you need to file for bankruptcy. Once you have all your documents, you are going to file it with the court. If you don't want to pay the court fee or feel like you are just too broke to file the court fee, no shame. But you got to fill out the waiver to do that and make sure you get an approval before filing. Because if you go into that courthouse, they're going to ask you for $340. Okay, just a warning. And then after that, you do have to take 2 courses, one before your 341 meeting and one before discharge. They're both kind of like financial literacy courses, making sure that you know better so you won't have to get yourself in this predicament again. And now you file for bankruptcy.
Hey, if you're thinking about filing bankruptcy, don't be embarrassed. Just seek advice and go wherever the information leads you. Sometimes it's in your best interest, sometimes it's not. So get the information first, and then you can make an educated decision.
Hey, Elsie, so I recently got denied for an apartment that me and my fiance applied to. And they were telling me, like, during the tour, the realtor who was showing it to us was like, yeah, the landlords are really strict. Like, you know, you're going to have a good application. I'm like, yeah, I work full time. I have a side job. Like, we make enough money, like abundantly enough to qualify. Our credit scores are 700 plus. Like, I wasn't worried about the application at all. I wanted to make sure I liked the place. We liked it and we applied, and they denied us after like a 3-hour application process. They wanted my car's insurance card. They wanted all of my employers from like 5 years back, recent landlord references, which we have. They wanted how much money's in my bank account, my savings, how much money's on any credit cards, which is almost zero, the amount on my car loan. Like, this application was insane. And then there was a questionnaire that said, like, do you foresee any financial troubles in the near future? Who would put yes? Like, you're applying for housing. So it took over 2 hours to do, and we ended up getting like 2 hours of sleep that night after a full day of touring apartments, and then we had to go fly and work a flight. So it was a lot to apply for the place. But anyway, let me get to the denial, because it's the biggest crock I've ever seen. So they asked on the questionnaire, is there anything in your credit history that you should like come clean about? And I'm like, what is this? I'm not buying a house. Like, this is insane. But I said on there, I have a bankruptcy from 5.5 years ago. I have no debt. I've always made on-time payments, even prior to my bankruptcy. And, you know, my financial health is the best it's ever been post-bankruptcy. Anyone with a brain knows that after bankruptcy, you're in a better financial position than before because you're debt free. That's the point. It's discharging your debts. But I get it. Some people are dumb. They see bankruptcy and they think that's just like a huge sign that you're so financially irresponsible. I was 21 when I filed bankruptcy, and it completely changed my life. Financially speaking, everything was so much better after going through that process. So I'm like, okay, we got denied because they're saying that from 5 years ago, and they don't understand how it works or realize that someone can, you know, have no debt after bankruptcy and keep it that way and be financially responsible. So I'm like, whatever. But before I got the denial, I was looking into who the landlord was. They had their house under a trust, but I was able to find out who it was. And I was searching their name, and I saw this person, this landlord, had a bankruptcy themselves the same year as mine for a house that they owned in a really nice neighborhood. I guess it had a house fire. They went to bankruptcy court to get the lien off to be able to sell it, and they filed bankruptcy on this LLC that was the house. So interesting how it worked for them, and they could understand, they're fine, but for me, it didn't work. So I was just like, you are such a hypocrite. I don't want the damn place anymore anyway. Bye.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
General Motors, Chrysler, and Hertz can all file for bankruptcy and then survive after. I can too. That's what I've decided. And I feel like filing for bankruptcy has so much shame attached to it in our society, and that's not fair, because as someone who has been financially responsible 90% of my life, and at one point had $30,000 saved up just a few years ago, and then got COVID, and then lost my job, like, because every company is like restructuring, and now I'm in a massive amount of debt, which half of it is student loan debt, and half of it is like medical debt and basic necessities. Why should I feel shame for being shackled with debt that I should not have accrued in the first place? We bail out big banks, companies all the time. Where's their shame? I can do this. Because there's really no reason I need to be shackled with fucking, I don't know, like $1,200 of payments to debts. Like, I feel shackled by the financial constraints that some random fucking people that I've never met put on me. I was born on this planet with a job already. And contributing to society, I understand. I'm happy to pay taxes, and when it benefits everybody, I get that. I'm not saying like live wholly individualistically. I'm just saying that expecting me to shackle my life to this country, I'm bankruptcy. I want to go to Australia. I think that's where I would go.
I'm smiling, but it ain't funny.
If this video found you, then you probably need to file bankruptcy. Now, let me break this down to you. This isn't for everybody. I'm not telling everybody that they should file bankruptcy, but what I am telling you is if you're in a similar situation to where I was 3 years ago with over $150,000 in consumer debt, and that's not even including the $30,000 in student loans, you'll understand why you might need to consider going bankrupt. So there's a couple of different kinds of bankruptcy, but the one that I did was Chapter 7. It's a complete restart. So essentially what Chapter 7 is, it looks at all of the debt that you report, and it sees the attempts that it sees how much money you make. So it sees the attempt that you made to pay the debt in the past. And what it does is literally wipes your slate clean. It closes all of the accounts on your credit. So once you do that, you're literally starting from scratch. Now, luckily for me, that was the best thing I could have ever did for my credit, because it really gave me the restart that I needed to be able to start my financial journey. Like now, my credit is way up. Even the month after I filed it, my score literally went up like 80 points. Literally. So I was back damn near in the 700s again already just from that. But getting and building that credit took time with the bankruptcy. So how do I file bankruptcy? Number one, you have to look up bankruptcy attorneys in your state. Number two, have a consultation with those people, because they're going to tell you the best bankruptcy that you need to consider, because there's Chapter 13, which is partial. You can pick and choose what you want to write off. There's Chapter 7, like I said, that's a total wipe. There's multiple different kinds. There's business. There's Chapter 11. There's all these different kinds of bankruptcy. So you need to figure out what exactly you need to do. And once you get those consultations from the bankruptcy lawyer, what you're going to do from that point is just follow the process. What I did, I had to pay about $2,500 for the attorney fee, and then he pretty much did everything else. I provided him all the paperwork. I filed on the portal, the client portal. I put in all my documents, and then I had what's called a 341 meeting. Before I had the 341 meeting, which is essentially the meeting where you're having with the hearing with the trustee. The trustee is the person who's going to ask you questions like, what's your name? Why are you filing bankruptcy? Do you confirm that everything in this file is correct? Things like that. But the pre-341 call is going to prep you exactly how you need to answer the question. So we literally went through each question the person asked or could ask, and I made sure to get all the correct answers from a lawyer who was going to be present on the call with me. I was waiting on the phone they tell you exactly what day and time your calling is. So you call in, they say 30 minutes before just to make sure your name isn't called early. So I was on there 30 minutes. The call literally took 3 minutes. I was literally so stressed out. I was like, well, what if I went through all this and I'm still not going to get approved? It was literally 3 minutes. She asked me like 5 questions. And then she asked my lawyer, do you have any questions? She said, no. She said, okay, well, thank you for your time, Zach. You're good. And then literally like 30 days after that, my shit cleared. So it's a very simple process. So if nothing else, I recommend if you're thinking about bankruptcy, if you're in a situation where you have a lot of debt, you don't know what to do, at least look into a bankruptcy lawyer and get a consultation. It's free.
Good morning. I got some more bankruptcy questions. If you are new here, I filed for bankruptcy 2 years ago now, almost 2 years, January of 2023. And I've been able to build my credit back up into the 700s, get an apartment, a car, credit cards, everything. So I'm going to address some questions that I got on my Instagram. I was able to keep my car. I do think they have an option where you can have your car taken. I think that's a personal decision. At the time, I had a 2020 car. There was nothing wrong with my car. I had never missed a payment on anything. So I wasn't filing for bankruptcy because I, quote, couldn't afford it. I filed personally because I was pregnant. I was about to be a single mother. I was buying everything on my own, and just having that extra payment when I knew I was going to have to pay for childcare and do everything on my own, it just was way too much. So I opted for a fresh start. So that's why I did it. So I did keep my car and I didn't have any problems with that. I did have an attorney, but I've been made aware on some of my other videos that you can file and get the fee discharged as well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I would definitely check with your state. But I did have an attorney. I went to Pagano and Marks. I used Keith Pagano for my bankruptcy. And when I say, like, I don't have too many answers about it, just because the process was so easy and they pretty much did everything for me. I had to go in and answer some questions with them so we could make a plan. But other than that, it was literally a phone call. You waited until your name was called. My attorney was on the line as well. And they just asked you a couple questions. You have to do a credit rebuilding thing. And like, there's like 2 things that you have to do, little courses that took like an hour. And they just ask if you did that. You say yes. They go through pretty much everything. My attorney spoke for me. I said yes or no to a couple of the things. And then that was it. And it was discharged and I was done. Another question. So when I knew that I was going to file for bankruptcy, I stopped paying on my credit cards, which was crazy to me because even before I filed, I had never missed a payment on anything. I never missed a rent payment, car payment, credit card payment, nothing. Never missed a payment. So not paying did feel kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. But as soon as I made the decision and paid my attorney that I was going to file for bankruptcy, I stopped paying. And no, you do not want to pile up credit card debt or buy a bunch of things because they look at all of this. They look at the timeline of everything and when you file for bankruptcy and why. A lot of people have asked about my apartment. I had no issues getting an apartment. So I was discharged early 2023 and I got an apartment. I saved for the year and then got an apartment in December of 2023. And I even asked the people at the apartment complex if the bankruptcy would matter at all, and they said no. What matters most for an apartment is rental history. What is that? At least in my area, I've seen that because I also have looked at other apartments recently, and it's all about rental history and they want to see that you could pay the rent. I think the most important thing after you file for bankruptcy is just to make sure that you have an extremely high level of discipline with your finances. In my situation specifically, I was very irresponsible with money. Before I had a child, I was trying to keep up with an image and just going out and traveling, and I was in my early 20s and that's how it happened. It was from college to my early 20s and I was just doing too much. But after becoming a parent, it's made me extremely responsible in more areas than one. So I do think that it was a great fresh start and a great reminder that you have to be super disciplined with your money. Oh, also, I forgot about the credit cards after. So I used Credit One to rebuild my credit, and also my mom, love her, she was kind enough to add me as an authorized user on her card. So I was able to build my credit up very, very quickly because her credit score is great. I used my Credit One card. I think the limit was like $500 when I first got it. But I used it for gas and groceries and I would pay it off. I made 2 payments every month. So I would make sure that it was completely paid off by the end of the month. And now I have a Capital One Venture card. I actually have 2 travel rewards cards with them, one for my business and one for personal. And the limits are pretty good on those. And I know that it will only get better because as your credit builds, then it'll get better. But I opted for travel cards because I wanted to be very strategic with it because, like I said, I do love to travel and I love to go and do things. So I want to make sure that I can get the benefits from that. So that's really all I use those cards for. I will put most of my expenses on there outside of rent and my car payment and pay it off at the end of every single month. Like nothing rolls over. I spend stuff on that card, but only what I have. I keep money in my checking account and then I pay off that travel rewards card every single month. But I've been able to build up to like 100,000 points. So if you want a link to get that card, because 100,000 points, I could literally go anywhere right now. So I do recommend, just to make sure that you can be disciplined with the finances. If you cannot, don't get another credit card. If you don't trust yourself yet, don't get another card. But for my situation personally, I'm in a better financial place. So I did trust myself to get a card and not overspend. And also, becoming a parent just changes you and changes how you think about certain things.
There's two videos on this here app that really stuck with me while I was like, I already decided that I was going to file for bankruptcy, but when you say things, your phone picks it up. So here's the two things. One girl was like, not enough people are filing for bankruptcy. I don't know if y'all know, this is how the rich stay rich and, get back on their feet when they need to, but file for bankruptcy, number one. Number two, another girl, it was just like, best birthday gift I ever gave to myself was on my 30th birthday. I filed for bankruptcy. I was like, chef's kiss. I'm not a financial advisor in the slightest. So what I'm about to tell you is things in my personal situation that I got from lawyers that I spoke with. I spoke to three lawyers about filing for bankruptcy, and the lawyer that I'm deciding to go with, it costs almost $3,000 to file for bankruptcy with her. Keep in mind, I thought filing for bankruptcy is going to be like $600, $700, maybe $800 to file for bankruptcy. I know these people got to get paid somehow, but I was not thinking $3,000. Gratefully, she does a down payment thing and then payments after that, which is great. But $3,000. The rest of them, the lowest out of those three was $23,500 almost for filing for bankruptcy. They wanted it all up front. The other two lawyers wanted it up front. When you're actually ready to file, you can be put on a payment plan with a co-signer or pay the rest out of pocket. That's cool. I can find a co-signer, but I was still shocked myself. Another little gotcha. I didn't know that if you are married or single, it really does make a difference. And if you are planning on getting married, like you're just in the engaged stage or, whatever, file for bankruptcy before you actually get married. Because when you're married and you're filing for bankruptcy, it just takes a little longer. Then the courts are probably going to try to push for a Chapter 10 instead of Chapter 7. Chapter 7, they did all of it starting from ground up. Chapter 10, they put you on some type of payment plan to pay back your creditors. But if you're just looking like you yourself, they're just going to look at you and your income. And especially if you don't have any income, there's literally minimum denial right there. Another little one too got you that I learned from the lawyer that I decided to go with. In my particular state, obviously, a lot of women and business owners are the ones that file for bankruptcy. She was just like, yeah, I don't get a lot of clients. No fault to me because she is white. A lot of women in their 25 to 30 era, they file for bankruptcy. And honestly, the sooner you file for bankruptcy, the better. Also, I don't know about you, but for me, when I heard the word bankruptcy, growing up and stuff, I thought your credit was going to be shot. You can't get nothing for 7 years. You're basically a turtle in the shell until it get cleared off. No, that's not the case at all. And the process, you guys, the process is done over the phone for a lot of people. I don't have to be there at all. I get on the phone with her probably 2-3 times, explaining my situation, make sure I have all my documents lined up, sent over, yada, yada, yada. And then I can be on the phone with the courts. I don't have to be in the actual city because in the state I live in, the city closest to me for bankruptcy court is 2 hours away. 2.5 maybe. I don't know. I'm not doing that. All this free information I'm giving to you, it was given free to me through consultations with lawyers. This is an hour and a half worth of information, and I have more information, but I'm giving it to you for free because I got it for free, and I feel like you should know. So if this was your sign to file for bankruptcy, you have it. Go do it.
Hey, thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are having a great day out there too. Until next time, take care of yourself. And we out.